Assalamualaikum class. Now it's a second lesson for the revision. The topic for this lesson is area and perimeter. It's me Shahbaz Hussain. So we're going to revise this topic. Simply area and perimeter is not included the volume and the surface area. This lesson is not included the volume and the surface area. Next, moving on, a quick revision on the rectangles and squares and the circles. So first we have to discuss about the perimeter of rectangle, which you can say that some of the boundary of the enclosed figure, some of the boundary of all sides, which we call the perimeter. Perimeter is basically, if we say that rectangle, so rectangle is a figure which have opposite sides parallel. The opposite sides are parallel. So here we have two lengths and two widths. So we can say that sum of all sides which we have two lengths and two widths. So when we add two lengths and two widths, we got the perimeter, and the area is basically length into width. Multiply with the sides with each other, we got the area of the rectangle. Next, moving on, the square is the side which have all the sides are equal. So if we have all the sides are equal, so we can say that four lengths, when we add four lengths equally, so we can got the perimeter of the square, and the area of the square is L square. Length multiply with length, both the values are same, that's why it's called L square. L multiply with L is called L square. So this is the area of the square. Next, moving on, the question 1. These are the classwork questions you have to solve on your notebooks, which will consider as your assignment, homework assignment. So area of the rectangle, he says that what is the area of the rectangle, so which is a given measurements are 4 cm and 8 cm. So it is simply to calculate the area, so we have to multiply both the sides of the rectangle, which are 4 cm and 8 cm. So we got the area of the rectangle, which is 32 cm. Next, moving on, question number 2, he said that find the area of this L-shaped room, right? So he gave us the rectangle, the complete rectangle, which were the measurements are 4.5 and 5.2. This green color box, green color smaller rectangle is not included. This L-shaped yellow colored figure is included to calculate the area of this L-shaped room. So we have to calculate the whole area of this figure. So first we have to calculate the whole area of the figure by multiplying these sides 4.5 and 5.2, which we got 23.4 meters square. Next, area of the small rectangle, which is in green color. So this will be 1.5 into 2.2, it becomes 3.3 meter square. Now when we subtract this corner from the whole figure, we got this yellow shaded figure. So the complete area 23.4 meter square and the 3.3 meter square subtracted with each other, we got the area of the yellow one figure, which is 20.1 meters square. Next, moving on, question number 3 is again a L-shaped figure. How can we find the area of this shape? So first we have to break this figure into two parts. Either you can break in this like, or you can break in this like. So there we have two shapes, A and B. So first we have to calculate the area of the A shape. So A shape is the measurement is 7 meter and the 10 meter. This is the measurements of this A shape. The 15 meter is the whole length of this figure. So 7 multiplied by 8, it becomes 70 meter square. And the next is lower one rectangle, which is measurement is 5 meter and 15 meters. So we got the area of this 5 into 15, which is 75 meters square. So when we add both the areas, so we got the complete answer 145 meters square. Next, moving on, question number 4 is how can we find the area of this shaded shape? So he said that find the area of the shaded one. So he gave us the rectangle, again an unshaded rectangle in this bigger rectangle. So this is the smaller, which is unshaded, and the bigger one is the shaded one. So first we have to calculate the bigger rectangle's area, which is 7 into 8, which becomes 7 into 8 is 56 centimeters square, and the area of smaller one, which is B, which we can say that 4 into 3 is 12 centimeters square. Now we have to subtract. Why we subtract? Because we don't need this area, we don't need this side, we don't need this unshaded figure, B figure. So we have to subtract 56 minus 12. We got the answer, which is 44 centimeters square. So these are the questions of the area and the perimeter of the four-sided figure, which is called rectangle, and the squares, which we have shaded and unshaded areas. Next, moving on to the circle, main parts of the circle. You got here we have a center O and the boundary of the circle. So center to the circumference distance is called, this is called circumference. Center to the circumference distance is called radius, and the whole distance Boundary to boundary distance is called the diameter. Basically the diameter is the double of the radius, and radius is half the diameter. When we cut it into two parts, diameter, we got the radius. When you go from the center to any direction of the circle, towards any direction of the circle, you got the radius. From this center to circumference in this direction, from this center to circumference in this direction, or straight or backward or upward and lowerward. So these all are called radius. So in a circle there are infinite radius. So radius is basically 1/2 diameter. So diameter is basically times 2r. Next, moving on, the circumference of the circle. So circumference, when we say that the circumference, it means that the perimeter of the circle. So there is not a sided circle is not a closed figure which have sides. So it is a rounded figure. So that's why we say that circumference. So circumference is basically 2 pi r, where pi is the use of the value which is 22/7 or 3.141592. So you can just use 3.14 instead of these numbers. So moving on, question number 5, which he said that find the circumference of this circle. So they give us the diameter. Diameter is the double of the radius, so we should half this value. So when we say that the diameter, so we can use this diameter as well in the formula, which is the formula is C is equals to pi d. So d is basically 2r. You can use the both of the formulas. So we directly use pi times 6, we can calculate, which is the answer is 18.8 centimeter. Next, moving on, question number 6, find the circumference of the circle, which is again pi d. He gave us the radius, which is 5 centimeters. So we have to calculate the diameter, which is double of the radius. So we multiply with the 2, it becomes 10 centimeter. Now we use the formula, which is pi d. So we substitute the value of d, which is 10, and we calculate the answer, which is 31.4 centimeter is the boundary of this circle, is the circumference of the circle. Next, moving on, area of circle. Area of circle, we say that there is a special formula to calculate this area of the circle, which is A is equals to pi r square. A is equals to pi r square. Now we need the radius to calculate the area. So find the area. He said that the diameter is given 14 centimeter. Now we have to cut it into two parts. So from center to the boundary, it is 7 centimeter. So the radius is 7 centimeter, half of the diameter. Now we are going to use the formula, which is pi r square. Pi times 7 square is 49 into pi, which we got the answer 153.9 centimeter square. So this is a simple question. You have to just memorize the formula and put the values in the formula. You got the answer. Question number 8 is like some tricky one. He said that the find the area of shaded region. As you can see that this is a square. He said that the figure is a square enclosed by a circle. So inside the circle, radius is 4 centimeter. So from center to corner distance is 4 centimeter, and the diameter is 8 centimeter. So it means that the side of a square is 8 centimeter. First we have to understand the figure. This is the side of the square is 8 centimeter, because when we move from the center towards the corner, so it is basically the radius, and the total length is corner to corner. This is corner to corner length is called the diameter. So this corner to corner length is basically called the length of the square as well. So this diameter is equal to the length of the square. So the length of the square is 8. So area of the square is 8 into 8, which is 64. So we have to cut the area of circle from the square. We got the shaded corners, these shaded corners. So area of square is 8 square, 8 multiplied by 8 is 64, minus area of circle, which is pi r square, which is 16 times pi, becomes 50.3. So 64 minus 50.3, it becomes 13.7 is the answer of the shaded corners. So again, you can understand by rewinding this question. So you got the answer. So understand the question first and then solve it. Now these are the questions. We will attach the assignments as well for this lesson. So take care. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.